Hello and welcome to Be Powerful with Liz and Lee. It's a new day and we're so glad you're here.
So you can expect to hear candid conversations on what it means to be powerful. Live authentically, live in the midst of ups and downs, productively, and above all else, joyfully.
We are so thankful for you, our community of listeners, and we hope you enjoy today's show.
Hi, Lee.
Hi, Liz.
I'm excited because we have some special guests today.
Oh, I know. So we went to the Supperland bar and sat down with the owners, Jamie Making and her husband, Jeff Tonidandel.
Well done. Yeah, no, Tonidandel. That's his last
Tonidandel.
name.
I got it.
Way to go, Jeff.
I got it.
And the best part is that very week, last week when we sat down with him, Bon Appetit has named them
One of the top 50 new restaurants in the U.S.
Wow.
That's incredible.
It is incredible. And it's not surprising.
I was going to say,
you know,
not at all.
We've got a really great interview for you guys to listen to. Sit back, have some fun, and here we go.
All right, everybody. Hello. We are obviously at the Supperland bar with the owners, Jamie and Jeff, and we are so excited to be here with y'all. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Loving it.
So glad you're here, especially Jeff. Jeff, we want you to say your name because we've been sitting here talking the whole time, not the whole time, but a lot of this time about how to pronounce your name.
Yes, it's not as hard as it appears. It's Jeff Tonidandel.
You got it, Liz?
Jeff Tonidandel.
Yeah, Jamie
Yes.
keeps it easy. Jamie
Nailed
Brown, everybody.
Jamie Brown.
And I'm just Jamie.
Why
Just
don't-
Jamie Brown,
Why
right?
don't you have my last name?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
discuss this.
Let's jump into
Let's
this.
straight into the family.
Let's unpack that.
No, I kind of want to. When did y'all meet, though?
So let's see. We knew each other when we were at Davidson College. We both
Okay.
went to Davidson. I played women's basketball. He played tennis, but we didn't date while we were there at school. We dated, it was about a year after or so we started hanging out. But why didn't I take your name?
Because no one can say it. No,
Because
that's not.
well, yes, but I still have to deal with it because our kids are all Tonidandels.
Right.
So
there we
deal
go.
with it.
Right,
Deal
right.
with it. I
Yeah.
still have
Yeah,
to
right.
deal
He
with
gets
that
a very big
scourge.
kick out of when we're traveling because it'll be Jeff and then our three kids are all Tony
gosh.
Dandels and then I'm Jamie Brown. And so he'll just say, oh, she's the nanny.
Yeah,
You know?
good one. Good
Yeah,
one.
so-
I like walking to the preferred line and being like, is it okay if the nanny comes with us?
Can she
my
come?
God, I love that.
Yeah.
That's
I love that.
awesome.
Yeah, and traveling is so. We just saw you guys in Rome.
How crazy was that? We had just landed.
I know, and
Yeah.
we were just getting ready to go, so we were all like, "Yeah, we've been here a couple of weeks." And you're like, "Yeah, we just got off the plane."
We had just gone off the plane. We ran into you at it was, I guess, at a street crossing.
Yes.
And you called
I
out
was
my
just like,
you called out
Jamie?
my name.
Yeah, yeah.
You were like, Jamie? I was like,
And
think
y'all
that's
had,
me.
yes, y'all had a kind of a conversation as a family about who, everybody guessed how many Americans you would see on the
literally,
trip. And we were
it
the
was
first
just,
ones.
it was 2 hours or an hour before we saw you guys. We said, okay, when is mommy going to run into somebody she knows? Because I always run into somebody, always,
Yes.
without fail. So we had that guess and we were all like, oh, around day 8 or day 4. And then we see you guys on the street corner.
That's
that was
crazy.
fun. That was fun. So you all had a great time in Italy as we.
It was a blast.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
What were some of your favorite things? Did you find anything like food wise that you were like just fell in love with?
Everything. I mean, I just loved just the culture and the warmth and the enjoyment of the way they celebrate life and food.
And the way, and I know that you all have traveled a lot because I've read a lot about your bio. And one day we took a car and we just drove to Cortona. We had no plans. We had nothing on their agenda. And we just ended up at a street side, cafe with the guy just bringing us things. We didn't order a specific wine. We didn't order
He just
specific
said-
food.
Yeah.
Things just started coming out and we went, this is the best time ever.
Yeah.
So it was the hospitality, the community mixed with the great Italian flavor and the goodness of that culture that
Yes.
just turned us on.
Yes, it's in every single dish. It's like
Yeah.
whether you're in the South, the North. I know there's different cultural vibes, but the feeling around food and hospitality, it is throughout that entire country.
And taking your time. With
Right.
it
Yes.
and
Right.
Savoring it.
Oh yeah,
and
you got
enjoying it. Yeah.
3 hours later. You want me to take the bill, or you want me to stay? Yeah.
How did that go with 3 kids, though? I mean, did you feel like you got to immerse in it, or was it kind of, let's keep going,
We
everybody's
made
dead?
a plan in advance of no museums.
Good.
Because
That's my plan too, honestly.
I love
It really
museums,
is.
but I
Lee
will
hates
stay for
museums.
6 hours. I
Oh,
get
wow.
the audio guide and
Yes.
I'm like, can't get enough. That's not going to work for children. And we did not want it to be like a deterrence for them to want to travel with us
Right.
again.
Right.
So-
Right. So this was your first trip as a family to Europe?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Tell us about
So-
the things that because you scheduled several really fun classes and stuff.
Oh yeah, so we tried to do skipping the museums. We still had to make it fun for the kids. So
Yes.
we did in San Gimignano.
Yeah.
Never say that; it's harder than my last name. We went to Dondoli and went and did a gelato class with the kids.
Oh,
And they
wow.
had so much fun at the gelato class. They got to make gelato. He's really fun. He
Yeah.
wears purple glasses, does
Yes.
fun stuff with the kids. And they also are using unpasteurized, fresh milk that he basically has his own cows, or a deal to get milk from his own cows. So that was really cool. And then did a gondola class
Oh, wow.
in Venice, which was awesome. Had a really good time doing that. And then we went to the land of Tony Dandles.
Your
and-
family
it's
is from
true.
there.
It's
And
true.
The land of
yeah.
Tony Dandles.
Yeah,
Is
so
anybody
there's-
named Tony Dandle?
We didn't get a Tony, did
Or
we?
Antonio?
No.
No.
Antonio
No.
Tony Dandle.
You got it.
No, we didn't see one of those. But in my town where I'm from, there's about 700 people that live there, and 100 of them
Wow.
are Tony Dandle. So next
No
to our,
way.
next to our hotel, Tony Dandle Street.
I
it's,
love that.
and
Wow.
But there are only 20 in the U.S.
Really?
There's
And there-
only 20
and
Tony
5
Dandles
of
in
them
the US.
are
I was going to say,
you
how
know,
many?
our family, and then my
So are you
brothers.
first generation, second generation,
I am
American?
third.
Third generation?
So
But
yeah.
the interesting thing about Italy is that he and our 3 kids were all able to obtain Italian citizenship. So that was one of the main reasons we wanted to take them. So Jeff and the 3 kids all have that.
But the nanny
Again,
does
the nanny
not.
does
The
not.
nanny does not. She's going to take a language
She has
test.
to take a
Jamie
language.
Brown, on the other
She
hand.
does not. But we really wanted to kind of indoctrinate them into this other land that could be theirs
Right.
at
Yeah.
some point. It's not that I want them to go away, but I want
Sure.
we both want them to live a full, beautiful life. And
Yes.
as my mom always says, don't clip their wings kind of thing. You know,
That's
which
so wise.
it's so hard for a mother, you know.
It's
to do
hard
that.
for a mother, but it's also the greatest gift you can give them is their independence and their free thinking and
Yes, and
and-
belief in themselves.
belief in
Yeah.
themselves. That is, I love that you just
just
said
letting
that.
them see all the
Yeah.
opportunities that they, you know, they're
Yes.
sitting there. They'll go.
Yes.
During college, we could come and be a gondola class teacher.
Right.
Right.
You know,
I want to
Things
do
like-
that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
for
want to go
sure.
to Venice and
Yeah,
do
exactly.
That.
So
That would be
there's
fun.
just a number of fun things that I think they could
Yeah.
do at some point.
So I've got so many questions to ask you about kids and first of all, just the feeling we had in Italy. We also did a cooking class and the joie de vivre, and that's not Italian at all, but the
Dolce vita.
Dolce vita,
vita.
exactly,
Ah.
dolce vita of the Italian way of life and food and cooking. We got to experience with a private chef that he was nice enough to hook us up with, and he was fantastic. I think we're sitting here in Supperland, which to me is just a happy place. And as a matter of fact, I put this pink jacket on.
Yes,
'cause
you look
Abby's
great
with
with the ball.
Yeah.
I had on black, and I was like, no, look at this place. It's just a happy place. So do you bring that Italian spirit here?
It's part the Italian spirit, and that I'm glad you're saying that, because I think the whole muse for what we're doing here is we wanted to do a Southern steakhouse, and we were thinking steakhouse, but we wanted to make it fun.
Yes.
So the whole kind of belief behind this place was we're going to have a steakhouse. It's going to have windows, and it's going to be
Yes.
really pretty, and it's just going to be a
Yeah,
fun place.
It's
Yeah.
like you think about a steakhouse, like what does that like conjure up in your mind?
Mm.
And it's dark
Dark,
walls,
Not
Yeah.
good.
gentlemen's club, like old boys
Yes.
network, that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, maybe cigar smoke, that kind of stuff. It feels dark and beautiful food, but darker and everything. And as we talked about, okay, how do we reinvent a steakhouse for
Love
this
that.
space? It was about lightness and being welcoming to absolutely everybody and making sure that it felt like it just had a hospitality, just teeming from everything that we did. So
I've got to confess, I literally did not know this was supposed to be a steakhouse. When I come here, I just look at the menu, and that's the last thing I'm thinking about.
right.
I'm like, oh, the menu is just delicious and sumptuous, and I'm glad to know that you have a steakhouse.
Well,
because
we say Southern Steakhouse
Yes.
meets church potluck.
Yes.
That's like our statement.
which
Yes.
is, and we're in a church, right?
Right. So
Yes.
what's your thing with churches? You've
Yeah.
got this
It's
one
an accident. I
Yeah.
said to Jeff, I was like, for some reason,
It's
we
a
are
thing.
channeling churches. I have no
Right.
idea. I'm sure there's something in there having to do with my childhood. I was raised in a very religious home.
Okay.
So I feel like maybe there's this thing where it's like, I don't know, just going back to that a little bit, but
Yeah.
looking at things in a totally
New
different way and looking at it. How can you make this a place where people can come together and everybody's welcome and it's beautiful. But Jeff and I just love salvaging old buildings. All of our
Yes.
places over in Noda are like
Okay.
that too. And so for us, not that this one happened, it just kind of happened. It took us like 4 years to open this place up. And a lot
Wow.
of it was going through zoning and figuring out parking and all of
Right.
that. The new project we're working on definitely weirdly fell in our lap in a lot of
Ooh,
ways.
wow.
So that was definitely, we were just channeling churches in a
Yeah.
weird way.
But one of the cool things I think about our churches is most people think that we're getting in these churches because these churches failed. But
Right.
the thing about this church and our new spot in Dilworth is that they're both churches that aren't there because they grew and outgrew their space.
Ah.
So this
good.
church was just this building we're in now, and then they built in the 1950s. They went and built the bigger church. This is our main dining room, and then they outgrew that, and they built a place down on Providence Road. And so then the same in Dilworth, where they were in the space of what was Bonterra and soon to be Layluya Hall.
I'm so glad you said
You can all
that.
practice saying that one
That's
too.
the other
I need
one
more
I
water.
can't say.
You have
Right.
to- you can't be parched saying
Layluya Hall.
You got it.
Are you going to have a
Um,
church choir standing
so-
at the front of
Right.
the door, just
should.
Yeah.
singing hallelujah?
So that church went on to be the Myers Park.
Nope.
I mean the Dilworth
Methodist.
Methodist.
Oh, okay.
So,
Gigantic
a
which
stone
is
tree.
which is across
Yeah.
the street. Yeah.
Wow.
So cool.
Okay, so back it up. Restaurant number one was
So it was Crepe Cellar, which no longer exists.
Right.
But that's where that was.
that was the first baby.
What year was that?
We opened in
2000.
April of 2009, which many
Okay.
people know as the bottom of the recession. That's
Right.
exactly when it
It was
was.
2008. I opened Hilliard Studio Method in 2008.
Yes.
Mhm.
People looked at all of us and went, "What?
We
you crazy?
it's like we're signing
We
the
didn't know
lease
we
on
were-
the
I know,
same
I
day
wasn't
that
either.
Wachovia goes bankrupt.
No.
Like those kind of
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
those
yeah.
kind of things.
You're like,
Yeah.
I can do this. I can
Yeah.
do this." All that went.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you did,
And you
and
did
here
too.
you are.
And here
Yes.
you are.
Exactly. Here we are.
I actually have a slide that I'm talking at a business school next week.
Oh,
And
nice.
I have a slide I'm working on, and one of it's an entrepreneurial class is take advantage of the recessions and pandemics and
Yes.
those kind of things. Look for opportunities then,
Mhm.
because we wouldn't have been able to do what we did not having any restaurant experience without the recession there, because
Right.
you can't just go to a landlord in a great property, a great
Yeah.
piece of town and be like, I'm going to open a restaurant. They're never
get
going to
laughed
give
at.
you the
Wow.
space. They're,
No.
they're going to say, no, we're going to give it to somebody with experience and somebody that can sign on
Right.
this. But in a
I
recession,
love that. Can you? And we talked about this right before we came on the air during the pandemic that we are still sort of, we're living with. But when it first shut everything down, and you guys were asking us when we started podcasting, that's when we did that. And you made the funny joke. You said, "Yeah, restaurants and gyms, we just
Yeah,
cruise
no problem.
through this thing."
Yeah.
We had the easy
The
button.
restaurants are getting killed, right? How did you all y'all are thriving.
Mhm.
It's like the pandemic was a great thing for you in some ways. It's
Jamie's like, really? I'm sure that was
Stress
the
level
way
was up
I'd
there.
define
Yeah.
it.
It was such a strange time, but I know when Jeff and I would go back to the house and like look at each other like, what the heck is going
Yeah.
on? We would just be like, we just have to hold on. We just have to take it one day at a time. And I'll never forget, as long as I live, the day that we found out restaurants had to close. And we were all at Haberdish. A lot of us were there. And he had to go and let everybody go. And he came back out, and his
Ugh.
eyes, he was crying. And I've only seen him cry a couple times in our lives together. And it was just, it was heartbreaking because of the people. I think
Yeah.
that was the hardest thing, was like, we really try to pride ourselves in taking care of our people, whether it's, providing insurance, or sometimes we'll do like karma cocktails to raise money for a specific person. We've done that in the past, or different organizations they're affiliated with, or just, trying to create growth opportunities. That's a lot of the reason why we're always looking to build our business, is because it creates opportunities
Yeah.
for all of our people. And at that moment, there was nothing we could do. And I think you just feel helpless. And, oh, what a time.
What a time. I know, and I know we've all blunked it, but you did come up with creative things that kept you somewhat. I don't know about you, but the PPP people were my people.
I have to give all the credit to him. And I don't know if you had somebody who's like bird dogging these things, but bird dogging any opportunity or loans or anything you could find to get through.
No, we would just sit, me and you and Carrie, and go, wow, I've heard of this loan. Do you think we should apply for
And
it?
the answer is yes.
Yes. And the answer was always yes. And I remember we did our second PPP loan. We were like, oh my God, we got to do this again. But you do it.
You just do it.
You just do it.
And then but give me the juicy part. I mean, so you do that. You do the things you have to do to stay in business. So many restaurants did fail and continue to sort of
I think we just held on to the fact that going into the pandemic, I thought we were well capitalized and in a great spot. Obviously, the restaurant business can blow through those funds in days. Yeah, it was amazing. You thought I was like, oh no, we're going to be good for a while, and a week later, you're like, my burn rate is we're not going to be good for very long. But just having the confidence that we were in a good spot, and we tried to leave as much cash as we could, sitting around and hoping that we're in a better spot than the average in the industry, and that would kind of tide us through, and that our employees were faithful and knowing that we were trying to do the best for them. But when we fired them all, we didn't know if we were just going to be open just to have food for our employees and try and feed them and get through. We didn't know what was going to come.
So you keep bringing that up, your employees. Yeah. You all really are a community of sort of family, and not to overuse that word, but really the parts Lee and I were talking about, you pay your employees, dishwashers, whoever it is, much more than minimum wage.
Double
that. Now that's incredible. A big deal because you've got a lot of people, right? But you empower them to sort of own what they're doing too, to feel.
This business is so hard when you go through what we go through every day, and our places are busy, so there's just a lot going on and a lot of work that needs to be done. It creates a special bond, and it really is a pretty nice, pretty cool culture, and it makes it a lot of fun. I think we both enjoy it.
It's cool too because they're sometimes it happens before people come on board and sometimes it happens afterwards, but we've got a lot of couples on our team too.
Okay.
And I think that creates a nice family environment too. I can easily think of like 4 or 5 couples that, in leadership roles that help make everything happen. And I think that kind of, it just creates more buy-in and everything. And
right.
Absolutely.
They enjoy it more.
Do you have a manager at each restaurant, or it's y'all?
No.
You've got a GM
manager.
at each. Okay.
Yeah, there's a GM at each place. And in fact, we have a young lady, Mariah, who oversees all of the NOTA places right now too.
Okay.
She's like a NOTA area director. So she oversees all of them. And then there's a manager of some kind at some level at each one. Growlers, Raining Donuts, Haberdish, and Ever Ondelo. So she kind of oversees that. So having them there is what allows us then to create more opportunities, and then they can continue to bubble up. And I think that's one of the biggest philosophies we have with our business is like, even with myself too, what can you give up so that you can grow into something new? Right. Even if you don't know what it is that you're going to grow into, just having faith and trust that letting go of some things and that the next stone will appear. I whisper that to myself all the time. The next stone will appear, and it's just.
That's so great.
I don't know if everybody wants to know what you whisper to yourself.
There's a lot going on in here.
I think that's super inspirational.
I think that's a good one. I think that's a real good one.
And that's living on faith in yourself as well. Faith in what you're doing is good.
Yeah.
And pretty much the universe will reciprocate on that generally.
Right. It was about a year ago. I was doing all of our social media across all the places. And I finally was like, I have got to get help, or I can't help with what I love to do, which is the concept creation and development and so forth. And that takes a lot of time. It's finite though, because once a place opens, my job with that particular role goes away. Yeah. But so I hired somebody to do the social media with me, and it's been unbelievable and has really allowed me to just grow into different directions. So
To have energy to create what you do best.
yes,
Right. To get the people in those places.
Yeah, I was going to ask, did you know, that moment when you do let your baby go, to know that, to have that wisdom to let go in order to grow, did you always have that? Did you start to bust at the seams? Like, how do you think you accomplished that the first go round?
I think it's really hard to do, but I'll give you an example. When we opened up Everandelo just at the beginning of this year, March 3rd of 2022. The ironic thing is that March 3rd is also Supperland's birthday.
No way.
So Supperland and Everandelo share a
Aw.
birthday.
Keeps it easy.
Keeps it easy. That's good. But so when Everandelo opened that night, Jeff and I went and we were there, walked around to people, met the first guests that we had,
Oh.
made sure it was okay. And then we were in the back hallway and we go, is it time? And he was like, yep, it's time. And so we walked out the door and we came over to Supperland and we celebrated the birthday
We
over
had
here.
dinner over here.
And it was just kind of like, it was like having two children, but the
Yeah.
one over there that we had just opened, we didn't need to be there anymore. You know,
Got it.
people feel like they're walking on eggshells if they have us,
we
looming
also
over
beat
them.
them up every day for 6 weeks.
Trying to get everything right. Like
Yeah.
this must
Yeah,
go
yeah.
here. The fork goes here. This,
Yeah.
Right.
the plate is here. You
You can let go.
it's time then. They have to do it. And that's what the
Right.
managers are there for. And we have such a great team. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't let go of something unless you're able to trust. And I
Yeah.
think
Yep.
that's a lot of it is you must trust these people to do it. And nobody's ever proven us wrong. So we just
Yeah.
keep going.
How did you decide to change Crepe Cellar to Everandelo? Am I saying it right?
Everandelo. All these
Andelo.
things, we make very difficult names, don't we?
Say, so-and-so's pantry or
I
something.
know.
I don't know these names.
It's all it's my last name
Starting
though.
with
This is
you.
the inspiration.
Right?
Right? The name.
Right,
Yes.
because I mean, on Instagram, I saw like the comments of
Yes.
how hard that was for
Yes.
people to lose
We
Crepe
just
Cellar,
got
but
the
you knew to do it.
nicest Note though.
Oh,
About the crepes, the person that,
Oh, yeah.
that came in.
Yeah, we've had some people come back now. They were like, I was so hurt by
Right.
Crepe Cellar leaving. And then I came back and they were like, this person said, this was the best dining experience I've had in Charlotte so far. And
With
I
an
was like,
expletive.
yeah,
wow.
there was an F word in there.
We
too.
don't mind those.
Yes, and that kind
Oh,
of thing,
wow.
it definitely makes it all worth it. But I think we knew it was worth it even during the process of changing it. The spirit became different.
Sure.
The newness of it. We shifted some people around, and I think people just uplifted and attitudes were better. And it was exciting to open something.
It was a
new.
Yeah.
great thing to do coming out of the pandemic and
Yeah.
not just be limping along, but have excitement. And the staff was great. We had people from here coming
Right.
over there to help out.
Yeah.
It got everybody together, and it wouldn't have been like that. Us reopening Crepe Cellar, we wouldn't have had just the people from here being over there. What can we do to help?
Yeah.
What can I R&D? It was just great. The excitement and
So your conversation, what I'm hearing from you all is the opposite of what I hear on the street, from other restaurateurs where we've been in different cities, and they'll say we can't keep anybody. But what I hear from you is you give people no reason to go anywhere.
there's plenty
You
of
we
empower
lose a lot
them.
of people too.
Yeah.
but-
There's plenty
You're
of
not
reasons to
immune to it.
go places, and I think that's natural in this business. And we also, we train a lot of people,
Right.
and then they
And you pay them well.
fly on
And then they
to
leave them
other
too.
Right.
things.
And then they leave
But
and go do their thing.
We also have a group of really young people
Mhm.
that are fluid and moving around, and some of them do, move to great things. They do different businesses. They go to grad school. There's lots of reasons that people leave, but
We have an incredible group of like a core leadership team that has
Mm-hmm.
stuck with us for a long time. Our first hire when we were opening Crepe Cellar was our executive chef, Steve Cooney, and he's still with us.
Wow.
We moved him
That's
over
so-
to a corporate chef role now
Okay.
and brought in a new executive chef for Everandelo. But, we've got a number of people in those key positions that have been with us for 10 plus years. And we're so lucky to have that because I don't think any of us would be as successful without each of the
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's so important.
So even though I think I already know the answer to this, having 3 children, tell me the ages of your children again.
13,
good luck.
10, and 7.
So
Wow.
you've got a full-time job being mom and dad, right?
Yeah.
right.
They're
So-
awesome though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and at the beginning of the summer, unfortunately, our nanny came to me and she said, "My daughter's had twins. I'm not going to be able to help much." I was like, "Okay,
Oh my
we can do this."
gosh.
But you know what? What it has made me do is change my parenting style slightly. where I just, now the kids know how to empty the dishwasher. They are
Right.
switching the
Exactly.
laundry. They're putting the stuff away. I was like, you know what? It was time for this anyway. When they're
Right.
little, they can't do it. And
Right.
it's so messy. I can't
Stand.
I'm too little. I can't do
That
it.
wasn't helpful.
But now they can put things away and help. And in a lot of ways, I think it's been a gift, where
Right.
they're having to learn these things that I was not making them do before.
So, okay, so it's the same. And literally, you empower the people
Yeah.
that work for you. You empower your children. That's
We
how
don't
we
do
make
anything
things
that we
delegating.
notice.
Delegating.
Yeah.
It's like,
Jeff's like, just delegate.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, y'all do a lot. Go back to, you had no experience, right?
Right.
So what were you doing before and why restaurants?
So I was working for a NASCAR team doing
Oh.
sponsorship.
Wow.
And it was really exciting, fun kind of job, traveling around to 30 of the 36 races every year.
Wow.
And just having a blast when you're young. But as you get married, Jamie was in business school. So she was finishing up business school and hadn't moved here yet. So a little easier to have that lifestyle. But then as soon as she moved here and we were getting married, kind of put the brakes on that.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah.
as much fun anymore. And then you can talk about what you were doing besides
Yeah.
when we decided
we-
to.
When I was finishing up business school.
At Davidson?
I was out at the University of Arizona.
Oh,
so
wow.
out in Tucson.
Okay.
And I kind of was at this turning point of, okay, I really wanted to actually go apply for jobs at Nike in San Francisco. That was like my dream.
Yeah.
But I was like, wait a minute, my boyfriend lives in Charlotte and works for a NASCAR team. So I was like, if we're going to see if that's going to work, I should probably go to Charlotte. So I looked for jobs here and ended up at Lance Snack Foods down on
Yes.
South Boulevard.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I started my career in food in a different
There you
way.
go.
But
Lance.
honestly, in the strangest way, it has been really helpful because we would do lots of tastings and product development, and you learn about trademarking and naming and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff that I do all the time
Right.
now. So it's it was a great place to start. But we both had worked those corporate jobs for 4 or 5 years, and then we had been married about a year, and just kind of got together and we're like, what if we quit our jobs and
Yeah,
just
love
went
it.
and traveled? So we put our stuff in storage, which
way.
was, I look back, I'm like, oh my
That is
gosh.
so cool.
Can't believe
Well,
you
it's
did
so
it.
cool, but I
It's
can
so
see why
cool.
my dad was like, what are you doing? But we put our stuff in storage and off we went. And we left for about 8-9 months, and we
Wow.
traveled the world. And we literally each had a backpack and a roller bag that we shared. That's all we had.
No.
for the
This is
entire
right
time.
after you got
And-
married?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what a great idea
It
for
was
everybody,
No,
really.
no
Wonderful.
kids yet. Yeah, it was
But I
it was
think
awesome.
that trip is what spurred us to talk to each other about what do we want to do? What do we want
Right.
to do? And we talked a lot about food and hospitality and
Mhm.
restaurants and how much fun it would be if. But it was always that was a dream for someone else.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Wouldn't
You're
it
not
be
really
fun?
want to be fun if, but never.
Until we came back and the economy imploded and there wasn't anything else to do. So
You're
it
like,
was
let's-
He
Yeah.
was
It was-
teaching tennis.
Wow.
At the time, I took the first retail job I could find, and he took me to dinner one night. And he said, Jamie, I've decided I know what I want to do with my life. I want to open a restaurant. And I was like, that was cute on our trip when we were talking about it,
That's
but
right.
the reality
Have you
of
noticed
it,
the economy, right? Wow.
What-
Yeah.
Good for
What's
you.
crazy is Crepe Seller took us from the day I said I was going to open up a restaurant, didn't have funding, didn't have a business plan, didn't have anything.
You sound like me.
Besides a notebook full of ideas.
Ideas.
From that time till we got open was less than a year. And then meanwhile, now that we know what we're doing, we're opening up
takes
Supperland. It
so
took
much longer.
4 years.
Right,
to,
right.
you
So
know.
it sort of helps
maneuver
to just
through
sort
this.
of go
Go
and
blind.
wing it on your feet.
Yeah, the
sometimes,
recession
doesn't it?
helped too. Things
Yeah.
were able to move a lot faster.
Sure.
If you wanted a contractor, then you
Right.
were, we just put a
You just
sign
hello.
up. Hey, we're looking for a contractor.
all coming to
4
your
show
door.
up the next day at
Yeah.
the door. I mean, it's
Did it help that she had a business degree? Because
So we
I
both
don't.
we
Oh, you
both
both
went
do?
to Davidson. We both have our MBAs.
Oh, okay.
And I
That's
think
perfect.
that it just helps is just having conversations and having the
Yeah.
vernacular, and you get to places faster.
right.
Right, right, right.
So
Right.
we're a big fan of school.
Wow. Well, good for you. I could have used that. But
Look
anyway.
what you've done, though.
Yeah, no, but I still relate to the way you just did it. You did it in 2009, I did it in 2008, and you just go, okay, all that's happening, and I'm going to do this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just spurious, go.
Yeah, just
Make it
go.
one
Just
foot
see
in front
what
of the next.
happens. Okay. And that happened well. So we're going to do the next 2 steps.
Right.
Right.
At
Right.
what point did it become something you were passionate about, though? Like,
That's why we did it, because
Yeah.
we spent this whole, we spent 8 or 9 months figuring out what we want to do and what we care about, and was my big pitch to her was
okay.
this is the essence of what we care about and want to
Yeah.
do, and kind of curating nights for people to have a great time,
Right.
and that
But we weren't in a place financially where he could just do that,
Right.
So we also got pregnant then.
Wow.
Yes.
Because that's
we
the
got
way
Timing's
life does.
everything.
Right.
And so that literally like,
Party on, baby.
This is another
Yeah.
whispering in my
God.
head, but I would whisper to myself, Mama's not going to let the baby starve.
Oh.
So I will never forget
Oh.
the day I went for my interview for this job. I knew I had to get the job because
Yeah.
there were not very many jobs out there. And I was 4 months pregnant and I couldn't say anything. And I
Right.
hadn't put on a lot of weight yet
Yeah.
there. So
You're a
I
lucky
remember
tall one.
pulling my
Yeah.
suit pants up. I buttoned them, but I couldn't get them buttoned. So I put a belly band on, a long shirt,
Wow.
buttoned up my suit, and I like mocked reaching my hand out to shake a man's hand. And I was like, go get the freaking job.
Exactly. There you go.
did.
somebody needs health insurance.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
But it was difficult going in that you feel dishonest
Sure.
when you do something like that because I was 4 months pregnant and
Mhm.
getting a job. And I
Mhm.
knew that in 5 months I would not be able to be there. I'd need a break,
Yeah.
some kind of a break. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So that was difficult for me ethically.
Right.
But I think as a woman, I don't, maybe you're
Yeah.
not supposed to worry about that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it didn't feel
Interesting.
great, but I still did it. And I knew I needed to do it.
Yeah.
You did what you had to do.
Yep.
Did what I had to
And
do.
you had the qualifications that this employee wanted. So
That's
all
what
no
that
matters.
I see no problem with it at all. None at all.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm still just curious, like, if you've ever gotten to a point where you both went, too much.
Or maybe, and maybe, I'm sure that happened in the
And then
pandemic.
what? Obviously, there's a then what. But
I want to jump ahead. You're getting ready to open Leilua. Say it
Leilua?
again.
You almost.
Leilua. A luau.
that's not Hawaiian.
Not a luau, but a Leilula.
Hallelujah.
Now, what in the world are we naming it Leilua? Because
kind of a-
hallelujah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
Play
go.
up that
Hallelujah.
word
It's a
and
mashup.
Hallelujah.
Because you like to
Hallelujah,
mess with
hallelujah.
people, right?
I do. I like to
Yeah.
mess with people. That's
Nothing was better than on April Fool's Day, somebody wrote an article about
Oh,
supper dish.
yeah,
Oh,
there's-
wow.
there's an
Wow.
article called
Wow.
Supper Dish.
It was a new
Haberdish.
restaurant opening called Supper,
Supper
Dish,
Dish.
and it just ripped on us left and right. It was awesome. I loved
That's
it.
okay. I
Yeah.
mean,
It
hey,
was
they're
great.
saying things like that.
was-
They're
They're
talking about
saying
you.
things,
It was
right?
really great.
That's good.
That's funny.
So, are you just going to continue to dominate Charlotte with with your restaurants? Is this
So
what's our plan
We
here?
kind of have a commitment to our staff. I think
Mhm.
for them to have growth opportunities, for us
Mhm.
to have growth opportunities, we need to keep opening places.
Yeah.
There's really no other way to do it, to give them opportunities and
I love
have
that.
them a place, to stay with us. So yes, while we might get tired eventually, I think we love opening new places and doing what we're doing, and we're having a blast. So
Well, it
we might
shows.
as
Keep
well,
going.
yeah, might as well keep doing it. 'cause
Right?
We love it. We
Exactly.
have so much fun doing it.
You mentioned that it fell in your lap, Hallelujah Hall. How has that come about?
It was weird and a longer story than I'll won't
Okay.
go to the entire thing. But generally speaking, it was last spring. We were talking about, okay, what is going to be our pipeline? We need to have
Mhm.
something new, but we love going into old buildings. And so I kept thinking, okay, we got to find a compelling project.
And we always look at spaces. We're always
Constantly.
Yes.
looking, and our realtor probably was tearing his hair out because we keep turning them down for no good reason. I mean,
Yeah.
They
they're
just don't look
fine.
interesting
It's
or
a-
something.
It's not interesting.
you're like, oh,
this.
that's a fine spot. We could
Yeah.
make a profitable
Sure.
restaurant there, but we're just like, it doesn't
Yeah.
make me happy when I, look at it or
Yeah.
talk about it. So
Yeah. So in pursuit of finding a compelling project, I took 8 hours one week and drove all over the city
Oh,
into
wow.
random neighborhoods
Wow.
and everything. I just kept driving, and I was like, "There's got to be something out here." Looking. A couple weeks later, a friend of mine mentions that Jimmy Johnson was going to buy the Bonterra building. They were going to put in an art gallery, and I was like, "Dang it! I would
Yeah.
have
That would have
loved
been good to
have
know.
known,
Yeah, that would've
been a
because
good
this
idea.
would have been incredible." So I decided to look on their Instagram. On the top row, there's a picture from 3 years prior, but it was just posted
Mhm.
a week ago or so.
it's on
and
their website.
It
Too.
was a picture, And in the background is Jeff. Jeff was in the background of the picture. And I said, Jeff, it's a sign.
Wow.
It's a sign.
You reach out to them. So he reached out to
That's
them
funny.
the next day and said, hey, if something falls through, let us know. Well,
Wow.
months passed, and in October of last year, they reached out and said, hey, everything's kind of
Right.
fallen through here. We're going to give you 6 days to secure the financing, which was an incredible gift because they did not have to do that.
Right.
Wow.
So with that little bit of time, we were able to pull some things together, but they could have just gone straight out on the market.
That's
with it, you know?
fantastic.
And
But it makes sense that they want you there. I mean,
Right.
like what you're
It's a
doing
safe
is so
building.
Well, she
successful.
also drove around for 8 hours and it's 4 blocks away.
I would like
that's the way I'm like, she's the
Or
way.
like,
It's just
exactly.
in the neighborhood.
And I want to know your route. When 8 hours in Charlotte, that's every
I
single street,
know.
right? So when is this going to open? Do we know?
That's a wonderful question. to somebody trying
On
to
the
build it.
spot
I mean, we
now.
haven't even started yet.
Right.
We're
Well,
still. We have.
Okay.
I mean, we haven't really started the construction yet. We had. We're moving the walk-in outside, so we had to get through historic to ask them permission to do that, and we got that approved. So now we're just waiting on turning our plans into the city, get that done, and then construction hopefully will go smoothly and quickly. But it will be spring, summer next year at
Perfect.
the earliest. So.
Well, I have a vision for your reel. It's going to be the Hallelujah Chorus. I've already seen it. So, just pass that on to your social media, girl. You're going to have the
We'll have
best.
to
It's going to
find
be
her.
It's going to be great. Yeah. Once you find it.
What will that concept be food wise? Do you know?
So generally speaking, a steak and surf restaurant with similar dining styles to what we have at Supperland.
Right.
We love family style dining.
Mhm.
Yes.
The large plates brought to the
Yes.
table and everybody kind of shares there. We love the community it creates around the table. People are sharing dishes. There's more of a shared component to the meal if everybody's eating off of the same,
Right.
dishes.
Yeah.
So Leluia Hall will have, a steak and surf, and beyond what we're doing here at Supperland, we're going to have more of a raw bar component as well.
Okay.
So
Nice.
I'm going to like that.
I know. I'm so
I can't
excited.
wait. Yeah.
It's a little bit closer to our
It is
houses.
closer.
You,
Yeah,
you're
we have
known
our
for not
bubble.
going
Yeah.
2 inches
We have
away
our
from
bubble,
the house.
and it's right on the
except
edge
to
of our
your
bubble.
restaurants.
And I like it. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we consider this out of our
Yeah.
bubble, but this is worth anywhere. Charlotte has so many
Yep.
different vibes. Plaza, where we are right now, 4 minutes that way is Myers Park, Eastover. Totally different. And then you've got, West Charlotte. You've got all the Noda. Totally. That's almost like a different city. It's just so cool. I love this. I love our city for all the different ways it makes you feel.
Where we live, we can go walk to Dilworth or
Yes.
walk to the south end. And
Oh, love it.
So even just walking
South End, right.
2 completely different feels within
Yeah.
just a few blocks of our house. It's crazy.
It's wonderful. I love that. So you're just going to have a place in every single vibe.
Neighborhood. I like it.
Yeah. They're just going to vibe all over the city.
Okay,
Well-
so let's check off the restaurants. Crepe Cellar was your 1st, which is now Everandelo. What was your second one?
Growler's Poorhouse.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Still
they're,
there.
they're
They're connected, right?
Yes.
Okay, then
Haberdish.
Haberdish. Oh, I love Haberdish. Okay, next.
I do too.
Raining
Love
Raining
Donuts.
Donuts. Which is that just
It's a
Like a-
closet inside
Yeah.
of Growlers with a
I
walk-up
see.
window and
So
some
cute.
picnic tables. It's was just a fun project for us.
right? Okay, and then Supperland.
this place.
Okay, and then upcoming Leluia Hall.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you have so many
And
babies.
where we are sitting right here is
That's
the
babies.
This is the bar,
This
right?
is the bar at Supperland.
Right.
Yes.
It's so beautiful. And if you haven't been here, you all are, that are listeners anywhere near Charlotte, you have to come here. If nothing else, walking in the front door of this church, Supperland, this church restaurant steakhouse, which I would never believe it was called that. It's just like a fantasy. It's beautiful. The beauty that you brought forth in these buildings are incredible.
We also have a little speakeasy downstairs that has its own vibe. So this place
You do. I've
is
been there.
is a land.
It's
It
a
is.
land.
It is.
Land of
a
Supper.
lot of
Yeah,
lot of
Land
stuff.
of Supper. I love the name of it.
And do y'all do a lot of family meals here? I see.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do. We probably eat at the restaurants at least once, sometimes twice a week. So,
Okay.
we might go to Everandelo on a Tuesday and then here on a Sunday night. Try
Right.
to do it at off
Mhm.
times and 5 o'clock or so. But
Right.
yeah, it's a nice way to touch base and try to get to know some of the servers. There's a lot of turnover with
Mhm.
servers, just as people go back to school or
Sure.
different professional careers and so forth. But just having some of their faces and names committed to memory is
Yeah.
it's really nice. I mean, it's such
Yeah.
a really great group of people across all the places. So.
And how lucky for your family and your children to get to
Really.
be really
they
immersed.
They eat pretty well.
They eat well. I was
No
gonna say.
kidding. No kidding.
We cook for them pretty well at home too.
I bet you
I was
do.
gonna say, does it ever stop? Are you
Are
ever
you the
like,
cook?
No, well, I used to be. Jamie has taken that over. She rocks it out.
Nice.
Oh, that's good.
Kicks me out
Yeah,
every
I
once
do.
in a
Even
while.
make things that were too yummy and delicious.
Too-
and
I
not,
gotcha.
You know what I
You're
mean?
like,
yeah,
and mess
yeah,
up
yeah.
the kitchen
I'm
too
a
much.
paleo person, so
Yeah,
it's like,
okay,
yeah,
I got you.
Yeah.
we don't
So-
leave that to him anymore.
Yeah. I
Too
hear you.
indulgent.
Every once in a while, I got to make dinner last night.
You did.
so
That was
it
good. Really.
Fun.
Well, this has my. I want to come back here. Like
I know.
Tonight.
I'm starting to get hungry.
I am too, just being here. So, well, you guys are amazing, and thank you for sitting down with us and giving our listeners and us just sort of a background and
Mhm.
how cool you are. A year traveling together after you just got married, I think that should be a requirement for marriage. And if you can make it through
You
that
can make
year,
it
If you can
you're
make it
good
through
to go.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you come
Such
back
a
with
good
these
sign.
great ideas on what to do with your life. And you two are just incredible humans. I'm just so honored to be with you. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
We had fun.
We're so excited watching your story too. You
Thank
guys
you.
are
Oh,
thank
inspiring
you.
to a lot of people in a lot of different ways. So we are.
Well, thanks.
Charlotte is very lucky to have you both.
Well, let's just all
Thank
stay
you.
here and enjoy life and share the joy.
I love it.
Have fun.
Thank
You're the
you.
good. Thanks a lot, you guys.
Sounds
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to us today, wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, you can now find our podcast on YouTube.
Yeah. If you liked it, please share, rate, and review. We love 5 stars. And we hope you'll work out with us online or in studio at HilliardStudioMethod.com.